Hi guys. This is one of my first tutorials, so I hope you guys forgive me. I'm going to be making a project and it's going to be this. It's a little butterfly. And that's so cute because you can actually put a pin through it and it can be like a little brooch, or you can sew it on to some little booties if you know how to make those. Like maybe a beanie for a baby. These are really cute for like baby stuff. So you can see I have two different colors. I have white and yellow, and today I'm going to be using a hook. This one's 4.25, my scissors. I have scrap yarn left over from my old project, this pink sparkly stuff, and as you can remember, there's going to be two colors, one to work with and one to tie. And there's my white. I'm going to use this to tie. So I'm going to show you guys the first beginning steps of how this project is going to start, because I don't want it to be intimidating. It's actually not that intimidating if you think about it, because I'm going to explain the terms to you as we go. I'm going to try to go slow enough that you can follow. But if you have any suggestions or any advice, I totally welcome them. And if you want to share this, I welcome that too. Actually, I appreciate it. And I want to thank you in advance for that. So, let's begin. Here's your hook. Here's your yarn. Okay, sorry for the pause in the video. So, hook, yarn. So, we're going to begin with a slip stitch. And how to do this, or a slip knot, I should say. You're going to twist your hook around, and it should tie over each other like this, overlapping the yarn. And you can see it's kind of made a loop. Now you want to secure that loop by pulling the string through. Not the tail. This is your working yarn. Let me try that again. So, yarn in your hand. Place it on the yarn with the hook, twist it. Now it's crossed over each other. Now with your working yarn, this is your tail as the end. This is your working yarn. There's more yarn coming through. Slip it through that little loop. And now we're going to do 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, because you already have 2 on the hook, so there's 3. 4, 5, 6. So this is your working yarn. This is your tail. Hopefully that makes sense. Wow, you're learning a lot so far, right? That's a few things right there. So we're going to make a circle out of these little loops. We're going to connect it by putting our hook through, grabbing your yarn, pulling it through, and pulling it through, and that is called a slip stitch. Not a slip knot, a slip stitch. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to do yourself a favor by not doing them too tight, because you want to be able to go ahead and put your hook through later on as you go. It'll be easier for you to work with. So we did chain 3, and that's how we're going to start our groups of 2, and then chain 2. We're going to do 8 of those. That may not make sense yet, but it will. So now we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to put our hook through the center of the circle, pull your yarn through. Now you have 3 on your hook. Pull through 2. Pull through 2 again. There you go, you have 2. 1, 2. Now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And we're going to go ahead and grab your yarn, put it through that loop again, pull it through. You should have 3 on your hook. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Let's do that again with each other. So this is what your work should look like so far. We're going to make another double crochet. You should have 3 on your hook. Pull through 2, pull through 2. And now you're left with 1 on your hook. And we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And that's what it should look like. Pull through the loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. Alright, we're going to do 8 of those groupings. We have 3 so far, so I'll meet you when it's time to connect. Alright, by this time you should have something that looks like this. So here's the first group of 2, right here, that's your beginning stitch. First group of 2, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, and now we're working on the 8th. I've chained 2 off the 7th. We're going to do 2 more double crochets. 1, 2. It looks a little wonky and sloppy, but it will come together, I promise. So if you remember, we chained up 3, and now you're going to find that top stitch on your chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. See it? So it's going to be a little bit difficult. This is why I told you to work loosely. Go ahead and grab that stitch right through there. Should look something like that. You want both of those on your hook. Then we're going to pull it through. It should look something like that. And then pull it through again. And then you've connected it. Started that circle. Now we can go on to the next round. It's not a row, it's a round. Row is when you don't work in a circle. But if you're working in a circle, it's called a round. Which I think makes sense to me. 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to do 8 sets of double crochets that are going to look like petals, I guess, on a flower when you get done with this whole thing. And we're going to work in between the sets of 2 where you chain 2, if that makes sense. So we're going to start by going 1, 2, it's the double crochets, remember, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then what we're going to do is do a slip stitch. You're going to find the next two double crochets. Sorry, let me scoot that over. Next 2 double crochets. You're going to put your hook in between the 2, find the yarn, pull it through, and then pull it through. So it should look like this. Alright, so now you're going to do another grouping in between the 2 clusters where you did the 2 chains. Right there. Right there. So there's the grouping of 2. There's the space between. There's a grouping of 2. There's the space between. I don't know if you can see that. A grouping of 2, a space between, grouping of 2, a space between. And that's where you're going to have these really pretty scalloped grouping. And it's going to look something like a flower when you come to the end. And I'll do one more with you, and then I'll meet you when it's time to connect. So we're going to go ahead and go through the connecting piece right there and do a double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's a knot in my yarn. That's alright. This is just to show you guys how to do it. Preferably you don't want a knot in your yarn though. So now we have 2. I'm pretty confident that you can find the spaces in between. And make sure you have 8 of these at the end. And I will meet you when it's time to connect. Okay, so at this point I'm at the 7th scallop, and you're starting to notice it's sort of almost too much to fit on the ring. Don't worry, it's gonna fit. So right now there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we want 8. Don't get intimidated. At the very last part of my number 7 scallop or petal, whatever you want to call it, I did this slip stitch in between the 2 double crochets. If you were following along, I hope you did that too. Now we're going to go straight into that space in between. Remember we chained up 3? That's going to be part of our little grouping. So you're going to see it. It's going to come together really good. So we're going to go and make the double crochet, which is to yarn over, right? We're going to work in between. You can see that's where we have the 2, so this would be where the space is. Go in between there, pull your yarn through. You should have 3 on the loop, 3 on the hook. Go through 2, go through 2 again, and that's a double crochet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See how it looks a little bit overlapped? That's quite alright. And then we're going to go ahead and do 6. And that's how we are going to connect. We're going to connect right here. Right in here. Go ahead and slip stitch that right through, right over that spot. See? It all comes together pretty well. I'm going to unravel it. I'll try it again. So we just finished our group of 6. And you're going to go into this group of 2 right in between, just like you did before. Ignore this. Got it? Going through here. Grab your yarn. Slip stitch that through. So now you have this beautiful, beautiful looking sort of wonky flower. You're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. See that? Then what we're going to do is flip it over, and miraculously you can see how the butterfly shape starts coming through. Now you can still do this, work it in one color, or you can stop right here and I'll show you how to do different color. Okay, sorry about the pause again. So we have 3. Actually, I'm gonna do 4, 5, and 6 because you're gonna need enough to wrap around the butterfly. You're gonna take it and wrap it, and then you're gonna find the spot where you just started your stitch. You see that? You're gonna put your hook through, pull your yarn through, and you're gonna do a slip stitch. this is the part where you're going to cut your yarn. Put your project down, keep your hook in it if you want. I find that helps me keep my place. Then I'm going to go ahead and snip the yarn. And to secure it down, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch one more time all the way through. Boop. Go ahead and tighten that down. And now you have something that looks like this. And you can see that it has the wings on top and the wings on the bottom. And it still has the tail. And we don't need that tail anymore. So you can just snip that off. And tuck it on in. And that's what you have so far. So now for those of you who don't want it the same color, we can actually do a different technique. And I'll show you, let me pause the video and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so we're going to start at this part. You have that last loop, you've connected your little edges, and now my yarn is still cut, still the same tail. I'm going to go ahead and pull this yarn all the way through. Pull it all the way through. We're still going to double that over. You should have the bottom two lining up with each other and the top two lining up with each other. So 4 on each side makes 8. Go ahead and secure that string down. This is what it should look like. Something like this. Now instead of the pink, we're going to start using the white. Hold on. Here is my jumbled mess of white yarn. There it is, see? So what we're going to do, still have this tail, don't worry about clipping it off yet. We're going to take our hook, stick it right in there, find the loop, find where you ended at. There's your yarn, pull it through. There you go. Find the working yarn, and it's going to cross over each other. That's okay. That's fine. I'm going to put it through the loop. Tie everything down. I like to tie it together. That's just me. The tail that you have of the white should be able to tie with, oops, sorry, going off camera. Going to tie with this one. Ta-da. That secures everything down. Did I just do that wrong? I sure did. No, I didn't do it wrong. I just lost my place. Which happens quite often, no matter how good you are at crocheting. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that again. Go ahead and put your hook through. Grab your white yarn, all of it, all of it, all of it. There you go. Let me see. Hook through. Should I show you guys that? Hook through where your other yarn ended. Pull that white all the way through. This is why I said work loosely. Then I'm going to tie those pieces together. I don't want too much of a tail. So it doesn't matter because you can still clip it off. Whatever you feel comfortable with. And secure that down. Right. So now we still have the shape of the butterfly. Make sure this is on the bottom. That's where I messed up. I didn't have it folded right. Make sure it's folded right. Okay, now we can do this together. So we're still going to chain up 1, enough to wrap around the butterfly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to say that's probably enough. So we're going to rotate it around. Bring it around town. Right. think I could probably do one more. Just cause that's what I want to do. I'm gonna slip it through that white piece and then slip it. And try that again for y'all, for the people in the back seats. So we've wrapped it around. We're gonna put it underneath all that. We're gonna take the piece of yarn and pull it through. Okay. Now we're gonna cut the other side of your working yarn because we don't need it. We don't need it. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull all that yarn through that you have. And voila, it is secured down. Everything is tightened down. So you should have a butterfly looking like $1,000,000 ish. Oh my god, this video is gonna come out so choppy, I'm sorry. Anyways, so there's a butterfly. As you can see, what we're gonna do is cut those pieces. Cut them. I cut them. Tuck them on in. This is where your darning needle comes in. You're gonna sew these pieces so that people cannot see them. You're gonna sew them inside however you want. You sew them sneaky little strings that can't be seen. And then with a piece like this, or if this is too small for you to work with, get a larger piece. I'm gonna tie knots on the end of it. Sometimes my nails get in the way. That's all right. Ooh. There's a little knot. See? And here's a little knot. If I can make this one. I'm trying to include all this because I don't want you guys thinking like I'm a perfect crocheter, because I'm not. I'm learning just like you guys are. I'm just sharing what I've learned, like different tutorials that I find inspiration from. I may combine them. I may take steps from here or there. So now we have two little antennae. And slip your hook underneath there and pull it through. Whoop. Did I do that off camera? I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at the camera. So you slip your hook through, pull it through. Ta-da! I like to tighten my knots up a little, make them pretty. If you don't like these little edges, it's simple. Cut them a little down, like that. Even them out. And now, for those of us who don't like it to be budging around a little bit, don't want to lose the string off of your butterfly, go ahead and tie that down too. I'd keep that knot. I'd keep this knot a little looser. But if you want it tight, hey, it's your butterfly. There you go. That's your butterfly. Isn't it beautiful? All I have to do is sew in your little strings, hide them in your work. Try to put them like under, in between the wings. I find that helps the most. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys came out too like this. If it didn't, I'm sorry. If you guys have any more questions or advice or how I could do the videos better, I will totally listen to suggestions. I hope you guys like it. Thank you so much.